Hello YouTube. Good news. I just got my new RAM sticks. They're working well. I'm gonna put the live chat on later. I'm gonna give it like one respawn. And you know what? I think that it's not gonna. That I know I don't really know if the disconnection issue will be fixed, but I do hope so. There, let's try. So, opening Chrome. Okay, that opened very quick. Yes, it's happening very quickly. It doesn't look like I got disconnected. Okay, chat. There you go. There you go. It's all looking good. And I'm very happy. Oh, there's a spike in the GPU usage. I don't know why. Spike and then it went down. Oh yeah. Got him. Yay, I'm very happy. I mean, when the RAM upgrade. Let me just remove the suppressor from this. No, I don't think I want any other assault rifle in this game. This one is perfect for me. I don't want any other assault rifle. No, tomorrow I hope I hear from my company, from the other department. Meow meow meow. These sites are nice. It also has a target detector, which is very nice. No, I didn't really go out today. Unlimited ammo. Oh, sorry. I kinda wanna play Battlefield 1. Excuse me. Uh, I think I'm no longer gonna put like pepper in my cooking in the future. How about... And I really like this one, the next one. 553. How about LMG? I see that it has it has a very high rate of fire. It's pretty chill. Call Magnum. Oh no. Oh well. I don't feel like playing Genshin Impact today. Yeah, I think I'm done with the low prio. And yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I think I do have a lot of time to think about what kind of schedule I'm gonna live. I'm definitely, I definitely need to work during during the weekends. Maybe I leave 2 Sundays for myself. No, I can always like have my groceries sent here, just like last time. You know, something is telling me that I should. Oh, never mind.
Your turn to pick.
Hi, good morning. I made spaghetti today. The sauce is pretty runny, though, because I added water. Oh, and I got my new ram sticks today. They look really nice. You know, they have the blue, they have the blue heat sink. They look like this. I think they're well worth it because 3 years ago when I bought the ram sticks, they didn't have the heat sink.
Why not? Okie dokie.
I'm thinking maybe I should transfer them to my gaming PC instead of just have them for the streaming PC. But my CPU cooler is pretty big.
If you say so.
And I think that the clips are almost touching my plain RAM sticks. So what more if it had like heat sinks? I think they're working very well because they have heat sink. But I'm not sure.
Let's see what you're made of. Get ready. Here I go. Fight. Come and fight me. Onward. Good to be good. Yes. Snowstorms are coming.
I wonder what happened last time. I think I rezoned. Yeah. I actually got RAM sticks before, but I don't think they worked. So I sold them. I think they're color red instead of blue. I don't know why they didn't work.
You bet.
Like, I don't know.
Your middle tower.
Maybe my motherboard back then was picky. Yeah, I really don't know why.
I say,
But you know, the buyer didn't
sounds like
tell me that there was anything wrong with it, so I think it worked for them. It's good to remember that.
got it. Yeah, sounds like let us fight. You should rethink that. Snowstorms are coming. Yes.
Yeah, it's very nice. Let's listen to this.
Topiko Supremo, purong kape.
I think she really likes Filian.
Sobrang vouch ko tong Axe 5 trading selection. Confidence, fresh, for one full day. And para sa presyo na to, sulit na.
Hey, what's up guys, Ruff here. So one of the biggest discussions in the VTubing scene over the last couple of weeks and months has been the disappearance of the VTuber Filian, and whether or not she is coming back or when she is coming back. However, as we'll see today, some totally sane people on places like Reddit and Blue Sky have a different set of questions and concerns, many of them believing she might be in hiding because the Filian situation is truly a disgusting one. They have absolutely exposed her and her community for being awful, terrible people. And of course, as you can expect on these related insane asylums known as Reddit and Blue Sky, they have ample proof that she is just as bad as they are claiming. Now, for those who don't know, Filian is a very popular indie VTuber who's been MIA from streaming for quite some time, and recently she wiped a lot of her related social media accounts, and people started to get...
Yeah, I wasn't sure that she was indie before. I mean, she's very popular, so I thought she was like part of something bigger. At least publicly.
As to what happened to her, and given the context and recent jokes about her being deported, some people were asking, did they get her? But the reality is, she is likely doing an elaborate rebrand. This is based on context and also some cryptic messages from her friends. It seems like she's okay, and it seems like this is all a part of an elaborate rebrand that we'll see in the coming weeks or months. But of course,
Is that copium?
one of the accounts she did not deactivate is her Reddit account. Now, whether she has a Reddit account or not, I'm not sure. But people on Reddit, the Reddit lords, have been looking into Filian and her community, and they have some very serious concerns. As you can see here, this post on Mildly Infuriating would get a lot of attention, including nearly 3,000 updates. It says New York City subway. Graffiti covering a beautiful 100-year-old tile mosaic that tells you what station you're at. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look at this beautiful tile mosaic that has been completely destroyed by this graffiti saying Filian is lost with a question mark at the end. First of all, two things to point out here. We don't know if this is AI. It could very well be AI, and based on the name of the person posting this, at the very least it seems like rage bait. Second of all, Reddit though was very infuriated by this, and they were supporting this post and attacking Filian. And honestly, this is the first time I've ever seen Reddit mad about things being vandalized. But then again, if it's in the name of someone they don't like, that changes things. But even some Redditors were starting to ask questions and raise some very simple points. This person saying, luckily, there's a spray that will clean it right off. Oh, easy enough. Also, this is New York City. There's graffiti everywhere. In the subways, no offense to anyone living in New York City, and I'm sure anyone who's halfway sane who does would agree with me, the subway system is disgusting. Okay, if there's anything disgusting about this situation today, it's the New York City subway. I'm sorry to say. It's always been gross and littered with graffiti. That's nothing new. But, of course, you can see some people not just making fun of the rents in New York City, but also some people saying it's not ruined, but I love how people dismiss the impact it has on the lives of those tasked with keeping these areas clean.
Yeah.
If this, ladies and gentlemen, is the extent of the damage done to the New York City subway, they should consider themselves lucky for the day, okay? But of course, you can see people were trying to go after Fillion, throwing all kinds of hot shots at her and her community. But of course, that thread would eventually be removed by the moderators. They made a power move here and got rid of it. But not before it got nearly 4,000 updates. People were very, I guess, mildly infuriated about this whole situation. But people on Twitter were doing their best to spread the negativity surrounding this situation, saying, fun fact, graffiti like that is usually sponsored to make whatever they're trying to shill appear more spontaneous than normal legal ad. It's fake, it's gay, and it makes the world a little worse of a place to live in for everyone. Bad look for Fillion, but I don't think she cares. This is a wild post, by the way, and this is coming from someone personally who does not like graffiti, and I think it is annoying in pretty much every context. But really, we're losing our minds over this that may or may not have even happened in the first place. And this person is trying to directly blame Fillion and claim this is a part of a spontaneous ad campaign. It's totally ridiculous. Do you think Fillion possibly went down into the New York City subway and tagged this herself? And at the very least, they're trying to blame her community and then
She did it herself.
It's just totally ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And even some of the people in the replies here are doing their best to impersonate Reddit and claim that she's basically breaking the law and that anyone responsible for this, including Fillion, could be arrested. Now, of course, this sort of comment section here resembles that of Blue Sky, who's the other missing link to this whole situation, and some of the VTubers there are calling out Fillion. Yes, here's the latest from Blue Sky. We have this Araya individual, an EN VTuber. As we can see, a trans VTuber who is attracted to gender non-conformity. That's the first thing they want you to know about them. I will say nothing. I will say nothing, ladies and gentlemen, but they made a recent post calling out Fillion in the related situation, where not only are they pointing out all these problematic things that Fillion has done, but also is pointing out that Fillion has regularly collaborated with Nazi-esque VTubers like Kirsha. Once again, Kirsha is catching strays from Blue Sky. It must be a day that ends in Y here. But you can see the VTuber who made this thread had ample proof to support these allegations. A post right here saying a collab with Kirsha, who is a mod for a self-described neo-Nazi. I'm sure that's definitely definitive proof. They have another ones here saying another collab with Kirsha in Pippa. Oh, there's more proof that Fillion is a very...
I don't like paper. I don't like paper.
I say,
Your middle tower is under attack.
bye. Let's just see what you're...
very bad person. And another Kirsha collab. Wow, the proof is definitive. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see the absolute sheep in the insane asylum known as Blue Sky, thanking the OP for providing the sources. That's how easy it is. All you gotta do is have a video and then add your own caption. Whatever it says, it must be true. But down here, you can see people bringing up the fact that Fillion made a George Floyd joke. I believe that was made 4-ish years ago, and they're still angry about that. But down here you can see people also pointing out that the VTuber Cha-Cha made jokes about Fillion being picked up and deported to the Philippines by ICE.
I mean, Fillion's friends also make that joke, so who cares?
During the Minnesota occupation. You know, I'm not exaggerating when I say these people, they're living in an episode of The Handmaid's Tale. Like, they call the whole thing going on in Minnesota the Minnesota occupation. Minnesota was completely occupied by ICE in the insane asylum this person lives in. But yeah, what they're referring to is a joke made by the VTuber Cha-Cha, who jokingly said that Fillion was deported when asked where Fillion was, and everyone freaked out over this in the VTubing scene. We're trying to cancel her, and Cha-Cha had a great response. She said, "I have nothing to apologize for, it's a joke." It was a pretty good moment when it comes to the VTubing scene, seeing a VTuber stand up for themselves and allow themselves to make jokes, even when it upsets the ultra-sensitive people. You know, it was a good result of that. But what's not good is the people on Blue Sky crying about this related thread, saying, "I hope she is graduated and need this to happen with all of them racist, Nazi, toxic VTubers." And you just start looking at the accounts of these people, and it just all adds up, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Then you have people like this saying, "Vindicated." What do you mean, vindicated? I don't think Fillion knows who you are. Like, you think you have some personal vendetta or personal gripe with Fillion of all people? Okay, well, I'm glad this made you feel vindication. Very interesting. Here's another totally sane person saying, "I hope Fillion hurts herself."
What?
Being Nazi. And as you can see, this person wishing harm on Fillion over, well, reasons they can't even properly articulate. Just look at the body. 18-year-old autistic trans femme, Marxist-Leninist, and sexual deviant. 18 years old, and it's completely and utterly over for this individual. Completely brainwashed by the internet. Completely cooked. I mean, hammer and sickle in their username and everything. This is the most blue sky profile I've ever seen. This is just fantastic. And when I say fantastic, I mean it's like alarming in many such ways. And it comes as no surprise that this sort of person is wishing harm upon others over, well, wrong thing, or being something, or saying things that they don't like. But anyways, that's really the update on the build.
Really funny.
I don't have any juicy insider info or anything like that, but it seems very likely, based on the context, that she is in fact rebranding and she'll be back at some point. When that is, your guess is as good as mine at the moment. But for now, that's Reddit and Blue Skies seething about her, and that will continue, and it will be very noticeable when she comes back. I'm pretty confident she will, and when she does, the insane asylums will be losing their minds, and I'll be the first one there to farm them for content. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, consider giving this video a like.
Is this copium? I wanna comment it. Is this copium?
Your top tower is under attack. Your top tower has fallen.
I wanna say something. And maybe, like, fate is the opium of the people.
Got it. Yes.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Frick.
Your top tower is under under attack.
I hope that's enough. Nope. Looks like it wasn't.
Why not?
Your top tower is under attack.
Yes.
Copium of the people.
Your top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I thought about that actually. I didn't hero read it from someone else. Cool. Cool.
Sounds like a good idea.
The copium of the people.
What oversight? Got it. I say.
I wanna listen to Brazilian folk right now.
Onward. Yeah.
A sharp whistle can save your life in wilderness. The primitive rescue whistle made of aircraft aluminum delivers 120 decibels piercing sound. Lazada limited offer with international certification, trusted by adventurers. Tap below to secure your safety now.
Frick.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems that we have a little bit of a situation going on with a VTuber called Milky Way. So we covered before. There's been a ton of stuff that we covered on her before in terms of some Patreon stuff and her getting banned from certain platforms, and it was just being like completely unfair. But it seems that things have kind of at least gotten a little bit better for her now. But recently, she started off a conversation which I don't think she really wanted to start up in the first place, but it seems like we're just here now, and that's just what's happened. But essentially, she posted this over on her alt, saying something happened the other day. I went to the restroom. I went to the restroom the other day, and there was a man in there. And I got confused and double-checked the sign, then told the man, you're in the wrong restroom. And he just looked at me, smiled very creepily, and said, no, I'm not. Which obviously, very odd, right? And it seems like one of these clear cases of a creepy man going into a woman's restroom, whatever, and yeah, just being creepy, right? And again, obviously, it sucks, and hopefully things were okay, and hopefully nothing bad happened, because of course it can be very scary, especially when it's whenever it's just you two, right? You never know what could happen, right? Obviously she puts that down there saying, then I felt like dread in my stomach and left. I said, why is it like this? I needed to check something in the mirror where usually women are around. I don't mind like lifting up my skirt and making sure my pantyhose is okay, but how the hell am I supposed to do that with a man in there? And I think that's fair enough, right? 100%. There's a man in the woman's bathroom, like, get out. Like, I think that's essentially the end of it, right? I think it's weird. It's he shouldn't be in there, and obviously it's making her feel uncomfortable, and I'm sure if any other woman was in there, it'd make them feel uncomfortable as well, right? I think that's fair enough. But essentially this has started up a whole conversation now surrounding kind of transgender stuff, because some people have been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt or whatever, I guess, by saying maybe they were trans. If not, then yeah, that's messed up. I'd report that to someone immediately. So again, some people were trying to say that essentially, this could have been a trans person in the bathroom or whatever. And obviously this has become a huge debate, for many years of whether they should be allowed or not within certain bathrooms of like the opposite gender or sex or whatever to the one that they translate. It's confusing, right? Because people don't really know what to do in a situation like that. Now, of course, many people were trying to make it seem like she was being transphobic or something, but from what I'm gathering from this, it was literally just legitimately just a man in there. It wasn't even like a they might be transgender or something. you know, I think it was literally just the fact that there was literally a man in the bathroom and he should have been in there, and it's a little bit weird, right? It's one of those things, and I don't know why people are trying to push this on that kind of stuff. You know, and obviously she then actually puts up a reply saying sorry, which I don't think she needs to say sorry for this, because she said, I hope this does not make anyone upset. I just feel overwhelmed, and I want to talk about something that was very scary yesterday for a woman, especially in a park bathroom where there's no one to talk to or report to, and many crazy things.
Oh, frick. She's a real woman.
You betcha.
How do we know though that VTuber is like a real woman or a G-woman as well? Well,
This can happen. So yeah, it seems like it was a pretty isolated space as well, which obviously is quite scary for her, which obviously, yeah, does suck. And I you know, it sucks that this has been kind of, I guess, taken in this way, right? People saying anyone who just watches and never gets involved in being against transgenderism, you regret never saying anything if you find yourself in a world you're not comfortable in. Which obviously, I'm assuming what they're saying is like the fact that, you know, oh, because you haven't been against transgender, you know, people being in bathrooms and whatever, well, now you're feeling the kind of repercussions of not being against it because now they're in your bathroom, which I guess, you know, is understandable. But again, I do think it was legitimately a man in there.
see, I'm not even saying that she should be cancelled or whatever. I'm not really a proponent of cancelling, you know, for cancelling and censorship.
Let us fight.
At least, you know, I don't think she'll be one of those people that would, you know, because obviously I know a lot of people like to call transgender people men or whatever, you know, to kind of like get a rise out of them, or like to try and like upset them or whatever. But I don't think, you know, Milky Ways isn't one of these people that do that, right? So if she says a man, I'm pretty sure she actually means a man, right? She also follows up saying, I'm not someone who hates or shames anyone at all, but danger in the world is still out there, no matter what, for both women and men. Please be careful out there. Do not put yourself in any risky situations. When you feel fight or flight feelings come in, do not ignore them. And obviously, if Protestant, you did nothing wrong, your concern is entirely valid. It's just a shame the world is insane, and the insane people feel a need to disagree with you. And yeah, I mean, you know, there was also a couple of people that were going after her on the opposite end. Some people have been obviously saying, like, you know, this is what happens whenever you don't care about the politics and whatever, and you don't get involved in politics. This kind of stuff happens, which, you know, as I said, is fair enough. But there's also the opposite end of things where people were trying to call her like transphobic and things like that because, you know, oh, it's not a man, it's actually it's a...
Wow, I wish I can afford cereal right now. Huh. I'm jealous.
Someone who wants to be a woman or whatever, and it's just like, okay, like it's still weird, but there is still this man stood in the bathroom, obviously being very creepy towards her, and I mean that's about it, right? So again, I don't know, it's one of these things that people you know, are very mixed about. People saying transgenderism doesn't care about women's safety, sadly, and this is proof of that. That I see people saying in here that think, oh no, I read that one before, it didn't really make sense to me. So one of the nicest, sweetest, softest women you'll ever meet just experienced the thing that doesn't happen, and it's disgusting that she had to experience it. So yeah, obviously a lot of people supporting her as well, which is great. Then the people in the comments have genuinely lost their mind. The thought of a man just being a blanky perv does not even occur to them. It has to be a trans woman, which again, you know, I think it is like, I don't know, it's one of these things where it's not even just like people...
Browser-based games are dead. Watch this.
It's not even like people that are less necessarily against like trans people or whatever. I think it's like a mix of everybody. Like nobody, like I think everybody's confused, no matter whether you're for or against them being in the bathroom or not or whatever, right? I think a lot of people just like a little bit confused. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's weird. So this is why California attacks on 2A is an attack on women's rights. then the reason why I hate the woke mob, they protect and entitle trans people and makes women feel uncomfortable. Which again, as I said, I don't think she ever actually really mentioned trans people within this, right? I think a lot of people have taken it to kind of start up a discussion about that, which obviously is something that what people will do, right? But I think trying to say that Milky Way's situation, her situation in particular, that the example that she is giving was involving a trans person, I just don't think that's true. I think a lot of people are kind of ignoring what she is saying, and I think it is kind of weird because, again, she's giving her own account of a story of a very creepy man within the bathroom who shouldn't have been in there, and people were trying to just make this about something that wasn't even involved in the situation, right? And again, I understand that there's going to be a lot of debates and stuff surrounding similar things to do with all the trans bathroom stuff, but maybe not so much on this example, right? Because of course it's her example and it's something that she's gone through, which obviously does suck, right? People say, just to put a different spin on it, I've been tasked with the janitorial job of cleaning a women's bathroom. I made sure to knock before entering, but if some apparently freakazoid came in saying you're in the wrong restroom, that I may respond with, no, I'm not. No, that's not true. That is not true. What? Again, I don't know why people are trying to defend the man in the bathroom. Like they're saying, oh, it could have been a cleaner. Like, no, if you're cleaning the woman's bathroom, right, you're gonna tell them, oh, sorry, I was just cleaning up. I'll leave for a minute. You go do whatever, and I'll come back in after you're done, right?
I'm not gonna tell where, but when there's a female cleaner in the male washroom, man, I don't care. And other guys around me don't care. If anyone acts like very creepy toward me, of course I'm gonna report,
Right, that's usually, the kind of interaction.
But I don't know. It has never happened. I don't know if I'm just gonna keep quiet or what.
Would have, or be like, oh, I'll just be 2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds. I'll just finish this. Not, she came in saying you're in the wrong restroom, and then you're not going to respond with no, I'm not. You're going to go, oh no, I'm the cleaner. Sorry, like, I'm the cleaner. That's what you'd respond with. You're not going to go, no, I'm not. Because you clearly are in the wrong restroom if you were going to use it, right? I think it's kind of stupid. And some people try to get them out by saying oh, they might be the cleaner. Like, no, they're not. Like, why would you just go, I'm the janitor? What are you trying to defend here? And then put in the mop and bucket and patiently wait outside. No, bro, clearly there wasn't a mop and bucket as well, right? Sure, I think, even Milky Ways could have inferred that he was the cleaner if he had a mop and bucket right next to him, but I'm pretty sure she would have mentioned the fact there was a mop and bucket there if that was the case, right? He said, yeah, that's a definite get out of here moment. Hope you feel better. Honestly, that is a moment to let the establishment know that you should have kicked his balls as soon as after the answer. Never fails. Then gross. And yeah, obviously, I do think, a lot of people have been supporting her, despite a lot of the comments that have been, kind of popping up. But so the only men allowed in the bathroom should be cleaners, maintenance, and dad to check if there's some creep waiting on the little girl. Which obviously, I do think that's also true. There's also the factor of, sometimes dads go in there, whenever their kid needs to go to the toilet, but they don't want them to go in there alone or whatever. So they just kind of stand outside, right? Which of course is a lot different too. And I think it's kind of understandable. But again, as I said, these are all circumstantial things, like the janitor one as well. It's just like all things that she didn't mention at all whatsoever. So it clearly isn't the case. Else she would have mentioned that and wouldn't have had the same kind of experience, right? The dude was probably a creep and a weirdo, bad intentions. Hopefully you never have to experience that again. Which obviously, yeah, I do think all of this, it sucks that she had to go through that. But I think what sucks more is, a lot of people were taking it away from the original conversation that was going on. The fact that there was a man in the bathroom, and hopefully, hopefully it just kind of, I don't know, I don't even know what to say here, because it's not one of these things where it's going to change, is it? It's just going to, well, I mean, it could change, but, it's just society. Like, I don't know how to say it at this point. But I really hope that, she's okay, and hopefully, I don't know. Maybe she contacted the authorities or something about it. I don't know. But I don't really know what you could really do.
Well, I'm enjoying these
Here with
reactions.
Sensor here. So I'm sure most of you have heard of the expression, the best disinfectant is sunlight. That is definitely applicable to what we're talking about today. There has been a private lecture from Anita Sarkeesian provided to a game developer from a few years ago that has come out, and it's really shown the agenda of people like her and anyone like her in the gaming industry. Now, why is this so important? Well, Anita Sarkeesian is someone who's had a profoundly negative impact on the gaming industry. She might be ridiculous, she might be laughable at many times, but her impact on the industry is a real one because people in the industry have listened to her. She's made national television appearances. She's even spoken before the UN. She is someone who came from a feminist ideology and has demonized so many aspects of the gaming industry and tried to censor and demonize many different things while admitting herself that she doesn't even play video games. It's all just a push for her ideology, and, well, unfortunately, the industry has responded. They have given in to her demands and aligned with her ideology many times, including as recently as now. She was there for the beginning of the original Gamergate back in 2014, and she is still involved.
OMG! OMG, is this Quinn? That's Quinn. That's Quinn right there. I know that. I know that person.
Dire structures.
I knew about Gamergate back then. It's Zoe Quinn. You know, I find her pretty attractive. No.
To the industry are not moving on until she many times. She's even spoken before the UN. She is someone who came from a feminist ideology and has demonized so many aspects of the gaming.
You know, I like Zoe Quinn's aesthetic.
Get ready. Here I come.
Industry and try to censor and demonize many different things while admitting herself that she doesn't even play video games. It's all just a push for her ideology, and, well, unfortunately, the industry has responded. They have given in to her demands and aligned with her ideology many times, including as recently as now. She was there for the beginning of the original Gamergate back in 2014, and she is still involved with the industry today. And discovering that, Anita Sarkeesian has been trending non-stop. And despite the usual suspects on Twitter telling you to move on, gamers are not moving on until she is completely removed from this space. In fact, recently, when it was discovered that she was a consultant for Slay the Spire 2, there was immense backlash. In fact, there was a host of negative reviews flooding in for this game because it's a matter of principle. People don't want to reward any dev team that is hiring the likes of Anita Sarkeesian. In fact, recently she took a photo with the dev team for Expedition 33. Now this very well could have just been a photo bomb at GDC. However, she is so toxic and so poisonous in the minds of many that her appearance in this photo is enough for people to start asking whether or not she's involved. Because if she is, people will act accordingly and not want to support the dev team she is helping out. Now here is the private lecture that we're focusing on today. This was given to a member of the industry a few years ago. Think of this as post-COVID, just before Trump comes into office. That sort of setting around 2023, early 2024. So this is the mindset when she's asked about how do we change
Yeah, I really like half girls.
the culture in gaming. And this is
I like their aesthetic.
her response, and it really reveals the agenda at play here.
There is always resistance to challenging the status quo. There's always resistance and backlash. So I think that maybe...
But you know, I gotta not let that affect how I agree or disagree with them.
Yeah, I can illustrate this with example. So I don't debate people. For years, these fucking assholes on the internet are like, debate me, like I'll pay you 10 grand if you debate me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, no. And the reason I don't.
The real reason why she doesn't do that is because she understands her grift. I know that word is thrown around a lot on the internet, but she is the definition of a grifter. She is someone who doesn't even play or care about video games. She just uses the medium to push her agenda. That is very clear. That's by her own words, ladies and gentlemen. But the reason why she would never debate anyone, even if offered a significant amount of money, is because she understands her grift. She knows if she goes into one of these interviews or debates, she's going to get humiliated and her brand is going to suffer. She's going to lose credibility in the gaming industry. So it's better to work from behind the scenes and to not actually be challenged on anything. That is why she turns down those debates. She knows she'll get destroyed, and she knows that a short-term monetary gain is not worth affecting her brand, which, of course, her brand is directly tied into her political views.
Is because it is a lot harder. When you're perpetuating the status quo, you can use 2-3 words to get your point across. When you're challenging the status quo, you have to unpack the status quo and then provide a vision for the future and the alternative vision, right? So you are.
By the way, the most painful reality of this entire thing is Anita Sarkeesian is the status quo in the gaming industry. That's how bad things are, okay? This didn't happen overnight. Now, you might think this is ridiculous, but have you looked around at the industry the last couple of years? This is exactly what she wanted. This was her goal. And no matter how ridiculous she might seem to me and you, and the average gamer, for example,
Yeah, you know, I shouldn't stop being such a snowflake myself.
doesn't matter because the industry listened to her. It worked. They were so afraid of being labeled X, Y, or Z for turning her down that they listened, and they listened, and they listened until this became the status quo.
We're immediately in a losing position, right? Like you can't win that. There's no way. And so I think for me, all of the work that anybody does that's challenging the status quo to build more progressive, a more progressive, more social justice world is immediately confronted at every turn, constantly with that type of resistance. It's a lot of like, how do you phrase things in a way that is accessible to the largest audience possible while retaining the core of what you're trying to say without dumbing down what you're trying to say, right?
Do you hear the smugness in what she's presenting? She's basically saying that the change...
Hold on. Did you say dumbing it down? I mean, for what? Dumb people like me? Or, I don't know, maybe she means not to lose the substance. Well, let's just let them finish. I've been interrupting a lot.
is she wants to force upon the industry and all the people receiving aspects of the industry. It's so complex that they have to dumb it down for the average person to understand, to be able to package it in a way that the simpletons out there could understand. But you can see, right? She's talking about the resistance to all of this. The resistance is criticism, okay? That's always been the resistance for the Anita Sarkeesians in the world. That's why they frame it like that, to make it seem like it's people, kicking and screaming into the progressive now. But in reality, it's just people who don't want to be a part of this agenda push that has no place in the industry whatsoever, and it's had a very negative impact because of her efforts.
Right? I loved what Bell Hooks was such a huge inspiration to me when I started, who talked about how she used pop culture in her classroom as a way to engage with students on issues of difference and transformative justice, and that she used accessible language, but she didn't ever reduce the she didn't ever simplify what she was saying.
Do you hear what she's saying? She's literally saying you have to use pop culture, in this case, the gaming industry, to push your agenda, to simplify and to make your message more readily consumable.
what? Yeah, I'm gonna interrupt again, I remember a certain, airsoft personality was just like that. I myself am a freaking snowflake. But the difference between him and I is I don't really want people to. I don't really want to ask people to adjust for me. I don't want you to pretend to be something you're not, just to avoid just to avoid, what's the word, offending me.
To the people you're targeting, in this case gamers. Like, she's just flat out
But I'll keep on complaining about it.
saying this is all a part of an agenda push. This is how they are. It's masked off, especially when they're behind the scenes like this. This, again, is a lecture being given to this member of the industry. They wouldn't dare say this out loud, but they feel comfortable here, so they're just going masked off.
Right? It's not like she had to make her concepts and her theories less intellectual. She just figured out a new way to say it. And I think for me, in the bulk of my work in the past has been a lot of like, how do I phrase things in a way that I can get the most people to understand, or to hear me, or to get on board?
Maybe just speak like a normal person.
Right?
Well, one way to do that is to go on national television all the time and also speak before the United Nations. Again, joke, right? The United Nations is a joke. But she was put up on that pedestal to speak about how women are being oppressed by gamers. Okay? That is a pretty big megaphone, and one that was endorsed by multiple mediums, multiple industries, and multiple organizations, even on a level like the United Nations.
Spent a lot of time thinking about, there's this concept called the spectrum of allies. It's kind of like a half circle, and over here you have your closest, most ardent allies that will always be on board, and over here you have the people that want you to die and hate you and think you're the worst ever. And in the middle you have the people on the fence. And I spent most of my career talking to these people, right? Because they're the people who could go one way or another, and that can create a larger sort of cultural shift, right? As we're talking.
It's not about a conversation with those people in the middle. And by the way, the people on the extreme other side, she's exaggerating, right? It's the people who just simply disagree, who have an issue with her imposing her will upon them in every single facet of their life, including something as simple as playing video games, right? But she is saying that she talks to the middle person. It's not about giving them any sort of decision. It's about persuading them and leading them into a direction with the two possible realities. You agree and you're okay, or you don't and you're a bigot, you're awful, and we need to get rid of you and bar you from everything.
Talking about building a critical mass. And there's a specific kind of language I would use to talk to them.
Oh, reminds me. I think we used to have like a maybe I should listen to an ebook of this. And I hope I don't fall asleep.
Versus talking to people.
Anyway, y'all, I don't think I have anything to do for work tonight, so I just hope I get a good night's sleep.
People that are already on board and that can use all the internal lingo and all the academic speak and all that kind of stuff, right? It's the preaching to the choir model. So, I don't know. That may have been a tangent, but I think about that a lot in terms of what are the challenges. Like, and even in your workplace, right? You think about, like, if you're trying to make change, or like ERGs are trying to do stuff, like, you have to think about how you present your message and how you talk about stuff. And you also have to understand that people are going to find you when they're ready. So you're planting seeds, right? Like, you're just like, you know, if you share a little snippet here and there, and somebody argues with you and whatever, and they come back 2 years later and they're like, oh fuck, I know what you were talking about now. This happens to me all the time.
Literally, this is almost a direct quote from Hassan Piker, by the way. I'm not trying to involve him in everything here, but like, he has said that so many times, where he talks about how his rhetoric isn't appreciated until 2 years later. Well, yeah, we'll wait and see how zapping your dog will eventually become a relatable point that people finally understand 2 years later. But you can see just like the clear gaslighting here, right? She's acting like she was right all along. But in reality, all she did was really convince a bunch of very, I guess, susceptible people in the industry who desperately needed validation and to feel like they're doing the right thing, and who already wanted to spread their rhetoric. They found someone who was similar with Anita Sarkeesian, and they used her as a lightning rod to forward their message and feel like they're doing the right thing while they're doing it.
I get so many messages from people who are like, well, I was a shitty Gamergator and I'm sorry and I know better now. And I think some of it is age. Like, not that Gamergate was only kids, but it's age. And it's also what we're talking about is this systemic shift that has happened over the last decade, that, like, while we've had extremely regressive politics and an extreme backlash to the progress, we have seen a progressive shift. Like, let me tell you.
Extreme backlash to the progress. It sounds like the message, the modern audience, the progress. Yeah, look what the progress has done for the gaming industry and what it has normalized and how negatively this has impacted so many studios. It's actually insane to think about.
Tell you, in the middle of 2020, when like the big Black Lives Matter protests were erupting, hearing mainstream people say the word white supremacy was a fucking shock. Because as like activists, we were using the word all the time, but we would not use it in like mixed company, because people didn't understand that white supremacy wasn't just like Nazis, right? And the fact that
boy, well, it's become just about anything, like bigot, Nazi, person I disagree with, they've all become the same thanks to the work of people like Anita Sarkeesian, and that's had great impacts on so many facets of life.
That is now mainstream, and we're saying that word, and we're talking about capitalism. Like, it's not just the air we breathe, it is a system that could change potentially. Like, this shift is happening, right?
The only reason why you have the job that you have and have been doing what you've been doing for 10 plus years is literally because of capitalism. It's because of capitalism you get to basically whine about an industry, to Trojan horse in your political beliefs and make a living out of it. So I guess you should be a little more grateful to capitalism in that sense.
And so remember, you're planting seeds, right? And even if you get frustrated, and even if you're like, oh, why don't you, like, whatever, there is an opportunity for them over time to come around and to see, you know, and be exposed to different ideas.
It's all about being exposed to different ideas. As long as those ideas are the pre-approved ones, then that is acceptable. But you hear the language about planting seeds. It reminds me of the Sweet Baby Inc. sort of rhetoric from their CEO. You know, go in and scare your higher-ups with the threat of cancel culture. That's kind of like with the planting of the seeds, right? They're trying to lay out their agenda slowly to the point where you feel like, oh, this is what I gotta do. This is what I gotta do. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, pretty interesting thread, by the way. Not only giving some more context, but it sounds like this person might be giving some more clips, potentially. And I'll definitely be interested to see that if it does come out. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, consider Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So it's the year 2026, and people are still actively seething about JonTron, largely due to comments he made nearly 10 years ago. So these current complaints are about things that he said, and these people on Twitter can't articulate why he's wrong about anything. Instead, they're very angry at him for presenting what JonTron described as uncomfortable truths. Things that are in fact happening, but people don't like the result. They don't like what it's showing, so they go after JonTron, and still, all these years later, nearly 10 years later, they're still seething about him, and also getting angry at people like myself for challenging their beliefs about JonTron, because apparently that is not allowed, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm sure most people watching this video are aware of JonTron. He had a massive presence for many years. He's obviously had less of a presence the last couple of years, but in his prime, his videos got tens of millions of views. He was a very big creator on YouTube and across really social media in general. And recently there has been some more discussion about JonTron, despite his limited presence on social media these days. People making tweets like this saying people forget that JonTron was seriously once considered to be the next AVGN before he went crazy. Every time he uploaded a video, an entire series of reaction GIFs were born. And this post got 41,000 likes. And of course, if you're going to post about JonTron in the current time and get 41,000 likes and nearly 5 million views on your tweet, I think I'm allowed to react to that and to add some discussion to this, because this person is claiming JonTron went crazy. Now, of course, you have to look at the people who are saying these things, consider the source and why they think someone like JonTron would be crazy. Now, I briefly reacted to this in a video I uploaded onto my alt channel. Yes, I have an alt channel. If you guys want to check that out, I will put a link to it in the pinned comment. Be sure to check out all of my extra videos over there. But anyways, in this video I just covered some of the reactions to that previous tweet and the fact that people can't even really articulate why they're angry at JonTron all these years later. It largely has to do with him sharing crime statistics, and a lot of it is coming from the FBI, and they just didn't like what he was sharing, especially when it came to per capita crime rates. And they can't express why JonTron is wrong, they just label him as a bigot, as they did back in 2017 when he was debating Destiny about related issues. And also, I think it is relevant that part of the reason people are so mad at JonTron is because, like PewDiePie, he went on to have a happy family, and he's also an open Christian. And these are all things that make the Looney Tunes on Twitter extra upset. They were upset with him already, but his lifestyle choices and his success in life has made them even angrier. Including individuals like this who would post a screenshot of my video. You can see they have notifications on clearly because they got such an early screenshot of the release. But they say this: you could be the most horrible, disgusting, heinous person on the planet, but as long as you have a wife, it's okay apparently. JonTron wasn't removed from Yooka-Laylee for no reason. Of course, this is not what I said in this 5-minute video at all, and I think the person posting this knows that's not what I was going for. The reason why people are mad at JonTron is because of, as he described, uncomfortable truths he shared about crime rates. Nobody can say he's wrong about certain things. Instead, they labeled him as a bigot, and that's why he was removed from his appearance in the game Yooka-Laylee. Now, I don't think just having a wife makes someone impervious and makes them immune to criticism, but that is part of the reason why people are so mad about him, right? They're extra angry, right? Seeing him have a normal life, having a wife and kids, and living his life as a Christian man, it makes the wackadoos on social media extra angry. They were already angry, that just added to the mix. And that was my observation. It's a very plain one to see here. It's a mixture of things, but it doesn't just boil down to you're immune to criticism because you have a wife. And also calling him the most horrible, disgusting, heinous person on the planet without being able to express why is very telling. But people in the replies were making their point made, saying can't find a single person on earth who still talks about Yooka-Laylee. JonTron is the only reason you even brought that letdown of a game up, which is definitely true. And as you can see from people here, yeah, JonTron isn't losing any sleep over not appearing in that game. It came and it went, and everyone forgot about it. So that was not exactly a devastating blow for JonTron. It was an overreaction by them and an overzealous group of developers who were mad about JonTron presenting statistics. And on top of that, getting kicked from a company or a partnership does not indicate that you did anything wrong. Have you seen the type of things people have been removed from companies and partnerships for over the past couple of years? That is not an indication of guilt or anything like that. Then you have quotes like this saying, "It's never anybody normal that does stuff like this." Now you have to point out here that this person is 22 years old. That would make them like in middle school when this whole thing with JonTron and the related debate with Destiny happened, okay? And I don't think people like this have emotionally matured since then. But I also noticed that this individual doesn't even have a blue check mark. Normally with people like farming stuff like this, you can at least justify a grown adult spending all their time on Twitter by saying at least they're trying to farm pennies on the dollar with Twitter Blue. People like this are just doing it for the love of the game, which is truly insane when you look at this not so normal person. This is what happens when you keyword search the name Rev on their account. Brace yourselves, okay? This is like Caseytron incel levels of keyword searches here, okay? Keep in mind, this is just direct mentions of my name. This is not a normal human being. In fact, I cannot think of a bigger waste of time than doing this. And when I said notifications are on for all of my channels, I'm not kidding. Okay, this is just direct mentions again. You get the point. This is the same person, in case you forgot, who tried to cancel me for saying the word retarded.
Bro! I don't think I'll ever be that popular anyway. Whatever.
About a year ago. No, I wasn't even insulting anyone with that phrase. I was quoting a tweet that, by the way, used that phrase to describe a situation, not a person, but a situation where that creator was being slandered and harassed for no reason. Of course, you can see the 400 likes versus 1,300 comments. You can imagine the most popular phrase in those replies. I think you can figure that one out for yourself. But you can see another quote of the original thread we're looking at today saying, "A YouTuber who made videos when you were 8 rattled off accurate crime statistics 10 years ago when you were 12 in 6th grade and you were never able to get over it." And you can see this is reflected in the articles released by the likes of Kotaku back in 2017 when this quote-unquote controversy took place. And I think the most ironic thing about all these people is they look back at this debate with JonTron and Destiny, and they're angry at JonTron. None of them have that same energy for Destiny.
Huh? Can you say that again? Neko-chan. Neko-chan. One Dingle, one Tech 9B. Yes, one Dingle, one Tech 9.
Right, they don't even care about Destiny. They're more offended by JonTron, who by his own admission was a bit sloppy with his, attempt at debating, but largely, even in his quote-unquote apology about it, he really doubled down and just said that, the core of what he was saying was his actual thoughts. And it doesn't change the fact that most of what he was sharing and citing was statistics, many of which coming from the FBI. So people are just mad about statistics as per usual. And I just think about a lot of the interactions people cite as proof that JonTron is some heinous, awful person, according to them. And it's stuff like this, where someone says a statement at JonTron claiming one thing, and he shows with direct evidence something to contradict it, something to completely dismantle what is being asserted upon him. there's no words even included in his response. He's just showing a direct event that contradicts what someone is claiming. But people get mad about this. They hate seeing the truth if it twists the way they want to look at the world. And that's exactly what happened with JonTron in many different cases. And you can see people here saying a horrible, disgusting, heinous person. And it's stating actual facts, but it's bad because they're problematic facts. That is correct. Then you see some of the people defending this, saying it's genuinely depressing knowing how hard he fell off. Yeah, it's genuinely depressing to a person who has a hammer and sickle in their username. Like, I'm glad that JonTron is disappointing to you, because if he wasn't disappointing to you, that'd probably be a bad sign for him, because anybody with this sort of crap in their username, yeah, completely terminally online, completely checked out of reality, just all around pathetic, if we're being honest here. And here's a reply saying, is he seriously making a video referring to me about like 3 posts on Twitter about a dude who has 0 relevancy for the last 4 years at this rate? Well, he has enough relevancy for you guys to keep talking about him nearly 10 years later. And I also love that it's like, oh, just 3 posts. No, I saw a post with nearly 5 million views talking about JonTron and how he went crazy. It's weird how people can bash JonTron, you know, where he's clearly not going to defend himself on Twitter or anything like that. And they can do that, but nobody can respond to it. No one can talk about it and try to provide context or try to dismantle what people are saying about him. All of a sudden, you're not allowed to. And he's, you know, irrelevant too. Like, he's so relevant, you still talking about him 10 years ago, but he's so irrelevant, you're not allowed to make videos talking about people talking about him all these years later. But then you can see the original poster. This is the person that started the whole current thing. Saying, I love muting posts on here because occasionally you'll see that some people still working themselves up in a lather over a post you made days ago and have long since forgotten about. Well, clearly, again, you haven't forgotten about it. Here you are still talking about it. And also, you know, it's kind of crazy that you're calling people worked up for responding to your tweet where you're worked up. You're calling someone crazy. You said you went crazy back in 2017, and you can't even articulate why, because if you had to, you would look really stupid. It would be very obvious why someone like this would be so upset about JonTron. But really, that's the situation. It's 2026, people still are seething about him, and they just look, well, the exact way you would expect these sorts of people to look like. They're just mad about what he said. They don't like his problematic statistics that he shared, and they're taking out on anyone who dares to question their narrative. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, please drop a like on this video, consider subscribing, putting on notifications for daily uploads, and also multiple streams a week on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.
You know, I don't really wanna talk to people on Facebook. That's what they do. Meow meow. You know, I think if he ever finds out about me, he should have the same opinion.
So today's a great day if your name is anything but Hassan Piker, because he is once again being dragged across the internet for being cringe and having very bad opinions. Now this time is unique because we're witnessing a new dynamic duo shredding Hassan Piker and his fragile ego apart, and that is a duo of Smug Alana and Shoe on Head, a crossover between the Flesh Tubers and the VTubers. They combined to make a video dunking all over Hassan, who is practically begging for more criticism from Shoe on Head at the very least. And because I'm a VTuber, I'm required to react to her video, and I'm doubly required because I made a hey look, it's me, Gary, appearance in the video as well, as you can see right here. But let's talk about Hassan. It's been a very interesting week for him. He's had a lot of very interesting takes as well.
Do you guys find it weird that I V2 but I don't really wanna interact with other people? It's like I'm just making my own world here.
Including admitting that he's been wearing suits recently so people will take him more seriously. Good luck with that. But also, he came out and had a full-on crash out when a viewer called him a white baby. Now, contrast that to his previous statements where he openly says that he is a white man.
Sometimes you can't be talking like that, white baby. See, this is what I mean. First of all, suck my okay? I'm a goddamn Muslim American who gets fucking called a terrorist every fucking day. Okay? Are we doing racism Olympics? Are we talking about what kind of racism is institutionally completely appropriate?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I am a tall, white, heterosexual male, which puts me in a no marginalized category. And I feel like the only time I've ever been passionate about anything and gotten commentary on it would be like my love for cheese, I guess.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Hassan Piker is truly a racial chameleon, changing his race whenever it suits him. If one day he needs to be a Muslim American, got it. If another day he needs to be a white man, no problem. He can just switch whenever he wants to. Also, his little rant there is not only just incredibly insecure, the fact that he needs to say this to his audience, and also he needs to play the victim so badly, but also, Hassan's acting like you can't be white and Muslim.
You know, yeah, I gotta acknowledge the fact that I'm not usually a victim. You know, I'm an a-hole like everyone else. You know, I just like to complain. And, you know, yeah, I don't really want to talk to people. No, because I got used to people who just immediately shout at me if I told them like how I felt or what I've been doing. You know, I gotta acknowledge the fact that sometimes I'm being I get way too ahead of things, you know. I think everyone's I think everyone's kinda the same like that, you know, until proven otherwise. And you know, being a snowflake sometimes, of course, sometimes people would slip and then I'll immediately think that, oh, that's how they are. And that's on me. That's my fault.
You guys go away. I go please. You guys go away. Quick.
Okay.
Go away. Quick, go away. Go away. Para. Quick.
Meow meow.
Hey yo. Para.
Nico Nico nee. Nico Nico nee.
Decoys out. Incendiary out. Throwing grenade.
I'm going in. Bobby, jump.
Bomb them, bomb them. Bomb second. Second AWP.
Oh, no, last also there.
가네. 살짝 알았어. 살짝.
Meow meow.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So today's a great
alcohol. I almost
add up with the label he's going for here. In fact, Asmongold makes a pretty good case as to why he might be a better suited candidate for such a label that Hassan is currently trying to attach to himself.
Also, by the way, I feel like I don't know about this. I'd have to really think about it. Am I more of a Muslim than Hassan is? Really, like, if you really think about it, all the things that I do versus all the things that he does. Like, I've seen Hassan drinking alcohol. I almost never eat whenever the sun's out. I practice Ramadan all
I'm sorry
year
about
round.
this, guys.
Let's see, besides that, I don't gamble. All he's doing is he's just doing Islamic Muslim identity politics. That's literally it. This is just non-white, non-Western identity politics, and he is grifting off of it. This is what he's been doing now for the past at least 2 or 3 years. He used to not do this as much. Nowadays, this is all he does. It is so cringe. Now you like there are dozens of clips of him saying that he's white. Now he's saying he's not white. It's Schrodinger's race. It depends on which one makes me more victimized at the time. It's just so embarrassing.
Now let's take a moment and circle back as to why we're even talking about this whole chapter involving Shuanhead and Smugglana today. Look.
Anyway, my avatar got disconnected. It's because I forgot to connect it to the... Hold on. I don't know if it's charging or not. I think it's not charging. So yeah, I'm so sorry about that. You guys know how I like to make my character wave and salute during the end of my streams. So I'm so sorry about that. Meow meow meow.
We don't stay.
Deploying decoys. Smoke!
Yeah, now I think, now I'm thinking about sticking the charger into the port. Like, I don't know. Like, am I gonna use glue gun or epoxy? It's a pretty old phone anyway. It's a pretty old phone and I'm still very happy that it works for, you know, VTubing. Damn, you killed me.
Sorry, bro.
Drop. Сая бас ямар дээрх рүү орчих хоёлаа. Энэ бүтээр нууж яагаад бүр банаад гаргахад нараас нь бүгд уучаад.
Meow meow.
Хоёр гिच нэмтэр орж ир. Тэгээд уурчлаа манайс нь үлдээ. Тэгвэл манай үсээ энэ тавцаг юм. Хараагүй би хойноос ч гэж байна. Тэг. Тэгвч. Таан шаштай дээ. Наадхаа. Илээ дахил. Тийш гасдаг байсан юм шүү дээ. Энийг яг баг.
Frick.
Бэрүү амар шанцаа. Араа юу? Бэрүү амар шанч барахгүй хат.
Anyway, you know, I'd just like to say that I'm very happy because the stream has been a huge success. You know, I don't have RAM problems anymore in the moment. So many things to be grateful for tonight.
Terror. Sit. Фотошоп. Ui, haan бодоод байгаа юм би. Бомба тавихгүй маа гоё. Теста. Хэн бомба тавихгүй. Танд үү? Та өгчих гэдэг хэлчих шүү.
Nik-chan.
Yeah, I know that.
Nik-chan.
Тэгвэл бомб авчихсан. Хөөе, тушаагаашаа. Надаа өгөөгүй мөн гэж бодсон шүү дээ.
Mambo. Mambo. Omatsuri Mambo. Mambo.
Банан шахсан.
How am I top frang?
Банан туу. Таваа гараад үзэлж байгаа. Дүүн дат. Арахгүй явчлаа. Наач байгаа.
Mambo.
Deixa eu dar Good.
Frick. Nice.
Comes back to Pragmata, because of course it does, right? This has been dominating a lot of discourse over the past couple of weeks, really for the worst reasons. This is a game that millions have enjoyed, and millions of people have enjoyed the father-daughter dynamic between the characters Hugh and Diana. Many normal people not only enjoy this, but also got paternal instincts activated as a result of playing this game. Very wholesome stuff. But to Hassan Piker and the other usual suspects, they did everything in their power to pervert and demonize this concept. In fact, Hassan had many crash outs over this game and its fans, calling fans of this wholesome dynamic a bunch of losers, incels, creeps, whatever buzzword he could come up with for the day. Now, of course, all you have to do is show Hassan an image like this and he's already crashing out because, well, a lot of his rants are just pure projection based on the shortcomings of his own life and the fact that he lives an incredibly hedonistic and selfish lifestyle. And the concept of having a family or a legacy to live beyond yourself is just so foreign to him, he has to lash out because I don't think he'll ever actually achieve these things that he is trying to demonize for other people. But Shuonhead would mention Hassan. Now understand, during this video from 2 weeks ago, Shuonhead talked for 30 minutes. But roughly 3 minutes of the video was dedicated to Hassan, which I think is very fair because he was a big part of this related discourse. And of course, once this video came out, Hassan would endlessly crash out. You know, on the one hand, pretending like he doesn't care about Shuonhead and she's so stupid and irrelevant, nobody wants to even pay attention to her. But on the other hand, also crashing out over her words and her opinions for days on end, where he would also make weird, aggressive sexual comments about her.
Mga bigating ihaw sarap, pinagsama sa Mang Inasal Family Fiesta. Siksik sa Java Rice, juicy lambot pork barbecue, ihaw sarap chicken inasal. Kaya kumpletong busog? Kahit saan, order na!
Saying her fans are only around because they want to fap to her. And also he started making weird comments about her feet. I guess it's the author's barely disguised fetish at this point. But when reacting to a Hassan Derangement Syndrome scale a fan made, which by the way, the fan posted this on Reddit, or Hassan subreddit, and got attacked for using AI and was harassed by his community. There was a mention of Shuonhead as a level 2 reaction-driven Hassan Derangement Syndrome example, and Shu would leave a reply saying, "You respond to a crap take of his for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, or 3 minutes of a 30-minute video, and you have Hassan Derangement Syndrome." Okay, man, the beatings will continue. And they did, with the help of Shuonhead's emotional VTuber companion, Smugglana, who would combine to make this video titled "Man's Goon to You," responding to Hassan's meltdown about me, where Shuonhead would completely eviscerate this guy, talking about his vanity, talking about his narcissism, and the fact that this guy is, well, just your average misogynist. It's so funny hearing a male feminist icon like Hassan reduce women to nothing but their bodies, and meanwhile he lives a lifestyle surrounded by people who value themselves entirely by that. But then he encounters Shuonhead, someone he doesn't really have a real response to, and he just tries to degrade her and make weird sexual comments about her. But let's get a response from Shu and Smugglana regarding some of the coverage that Hassan has received.
Cover of GQ in a hot tub. I will put the picture up there as censored as I can. just to shield everyone's eyes. Like rubber ducky on his pee-pee. You are spread eagle in a magazine. Let me read this to you. Let me read what this journalist said. Are you ready for this? Here's how Hassan Piker starts each day, working out, shooting the It's Monday, 8:30 a.m. And we're in the backyard of a house in West Hollywood, where there's a makeshift private gym with benches, pull-down machines, and dumbbells galore. This is where 34-year-old political influencer keeps his thirsted after body fit. What?
By the way, written by a male, too. And I'm just like, I would have thought it was, yes, I'm pretty sure.
He strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays would kill to be where I am now, next to Piker as he pants in a pair of neon shorts with black Calvin Klein boxers poking out.
The socialist, by the way.
Sunlight glistening off the sweat beading on his chest hairs. So when it's women and gays thirsting after you, then it's a good thing. But God forbid straight men find you attractive. This is the dude that has to keep his girlfriend a secret like some kind of K-pop star so he can like be e-boyfriend for his parasocial female fans. I'm always talking about being married, like...
Oh my. Shit. You know, if I had a partner like me, I'd be bragging about them. But of course I wouldn't really. But of course, you know, I'd respect their privacy. But I keep on bragging about them.
When I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna talk about being in a relationship, whatever. I'm the whore, not the one playing e-boyfriend.
You're covered up! You can make the argument with me. When people say like, oh, well, she's just a pair of anime tits on the screen. Okay, fair point. However, Shu doesn't even like have anything that she wears in her YouTube videos. They're like revealing. Like she's very moderate.
People, wait, sorry.
Dad. Put me on the phone with him. Hey, we're busy. The left in a MAGA body, bro. That always stuck with me.
A progressive mind in a MAGA body. What did they even mean by that?
Being attractive and eating healthy and working out is right wing.
Hello.
What the f are we smoking?
And yes, all those articles are real. Someone went to school. Someone took on student loans to become a journalist to make slop pieces like this one right here. Yes, this was the original title, A Progressive Mind in a MAGA Body, which is one of the most insane self-owns I've seen in quite some time. But this video really dissects the vanity of Hassan Piker and also the fact that he's just a misogynist. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty vain too. Kinda.
Like, that word is thrown around and reduced to absolutely nothing on the internet, but he is legitimately one of those people. That's the way he acts. He encounters Shu on head. He can't use the usual insults like calling her a Zionist or an incel or any of those things. So he just basically says, haha, you're a girl. You're stupid. The things he says, including the comments he made about her fans getting off to her and being the only reason they're interested in what she has to say, and also the wiki feet comments. Like, if anyone else made these comments about a woman who criticized him, they would be labeled a creep and a misogynist. Why is Hassan some sort of an exception? Because his behavior, and really the behavior of his orbiters and fans as well, resembles that of a sex pest. Someone making completely unwarranted sexual remarks about people, especially when it comes to women criticizing him. Notice at no point will he ever address a single point she ever makes, ever. While acting like what she says is so irrelevant and unimportant that nobody would want to listen to it, and yet, while he's saying that, he's crashing out immensely. But anyways, they would continue on and talk more about this subject. In fact, they'd bring up some old bro tips clips. Haven't seen this guy in a while.
Hassan, on the other hand, like, really thinks he's some serious political commentator. Bro, you're a Twitch streamer. I'm a YouTuber. But that's the difference between you and I. I know what I am.
Oh my god, the things I want to say to people like this.
What the fuck? Say it.
Say it. Say it, Pussy. Did he change into a suit because I made fun of his Gucci shirt?
Like, you can literally see him scanning his chat of domestic terrorists, like Redditor for insults, right?
This is so lazy.
I find it more compelling when someone deconstructs why you're being stupid. I swear, if I think if he had an audience that thought it was okay, he would obviously bring up that you're a girl. Stupid woman! It's like he's fighting his bro, like, instincts.
He's reverting back to bro tips, Hassan Piker.
Yeah.
This week's bro tip is about bringing out the alpha male in you. This is a classic example of what happens when your father doesn't pay attention to you. You turn out to be a slut who's craving for attention, and then I tend to pick you up at a bar late night and bang you out on the first date.
What the frick?
By the way,
Why would he think about that kind of example?
she's absolutely right. Hassan is extremely insecure about the fact that he has been caught wearing designer clothing while LARPing as a communist on the internet. So to address that, he's now wearing designer suits. To remind you that he's just an average Joe, like everyone watching this video. But anyways, what Shu uses to describe Hassan is very important. He is a Twitch streamer. He is not some political pundit. Let's not gas up this guy's tiny head, okay? He is a Twitch streamer. He is also a political liability. Not only is he someone you should never take seriously when it comes to politics, he's just riddled with hypocrisy and really just juvenile takes. But he is someone who is toxic. You don't want to be associated with Hassan Piker. Only the radicals want to be associated with Hassan because, well, they're so far up their own agenda, they don't even know what's going on, right? They're shameless, they're idiots, and they don't really see a danger with associating with radical nut jobs like Hassan Piker. Like, why would you want to be associated with a guy who glazes up terrorists, who runs defense for terrorist organizations, who zaps his dog, who makes very creepy comments about women, who is routinely encouraging political violence and spreading violent rhetoric left and right? This guy is an absolute minefield. Why would anyone who's serious in politics want to be associated with this guy whatsoever? Especially if you start digging up the bro tips, because she played the PG version of the bro tips clips. And for this guy who routinely goes after people over jokes and all these things, including jokes from 10 plus years ago, it's awful funny to see his sort of resume when it comes to that sort of stuff. But anyways, this was another banger from Shoe on Head. And you can see it has 1.5 million views in just 21 hours. That's what we like to call here in the YouTube biz a banger. Okay, that is farming some serious engagement. Okay, people seem to really like this video. And the irony is, the internet cannot be defeated, ladies and gentlemen. Hassan literally asked for this. Okay, he got his small cameo in the previous video about Pragmata, and he crashed out about it so much and made so many weird and rude comments that he spurred this video on. This video would not have happened unless it was for Hassan and his own actions. And that, well, I would say would be a lesson learned, but he's not going to learn a lesson from this. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, consider giving this video a like. Also consider subscribing and turning on notifications for daily uploads on this channel, as well as multiple streams a week here on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Wow, I like his videos. You know, I know really... Of course, I cannot relate with Asmongoon. I mean, that guy is rich as hell, you know. So people might, people have commented or posted that he's kinda out of touch. You know, let's see.
Lahat tayo may firsts. Sa una pa lang, masarap na to! Choose GSM Blue!
The other day, I made a video about the Pragmata video game drama and covered some insane opinions people were having about it. How the game activated some fatherly instinct in some men, and how people were calling those men creepy incels for having the basic human desire to start a family. A small part of that video was covering far-left Twitch streamer Hassan Piker's awful opinion about it. I will play that segment in its entirety so you have some context.
What's really interesting about this is all of these unfuckable losers in the gaming sphere always talk about like starting families and stuff. And I don't understand like why this has become a thing that they care about. Like, if you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience. You should care about things you actually enjoy, right?
A dog that's just basically not even moving.
If you're a lonely gamer who has never been around a woman and will never have sex with a woman, why do you care? Like, why do you care about having children or like riding for having children? Like, it's just not something that you're gonna experience ever for your life, for the rest of your life, right? This is something that I never understand.
Wow, maybe there's a reason people are yearning to start a family and can't afford to have one and can't seem to find a partner. They feel alienated from their work and atomized from their community. If only there was a political commentator around to speak about all this. Oh well, guess not. First of all, the only care about something if it affects you is extremely libertarian coded and also very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean. Second of all, what is this nihilistic horseshit? You never aspire for anything, never aim for greatness and meaning. And I love how he's like, unfuckable losers. Like, okay, congrats on the sex, bro. Check out this sex haver over here. I'm sure all those unfuckable losers could easily go to foreign brothels and pay for sex like you, Hassan. Also, 35?
Muslim, by the way.
No kids?
Muslim, by the
Sitting
way.
in
Don't
his
forget
ugly
about
ass
that.
$600 Gucci sweater. I swear I've never seen this guy in a fucking normal ass t-shirt. Sitting on his high horse, looking down at people for wanting something more out of life. I don't understand how someone could be so mentally mind raped that this is their reaction to such like a simple, wholesome concept. That was 3 minutes of a 30-minute long video. I didn't think much of it, I just uploaded it and moved on. The next day I woke up and my YouTube homepage was flooded with videos like Shoe on Head just ended Hassan. Shoe on Head destroys Hassan. Shoe on Head finishes on Hassan. Wait, what? I had no idea what was going on. And to my surprise, he actually responded back, which then prompted a bunch of new videos. Hassan just had his biggest meltdown. Hassan's biggest meltdown yet. Shoe on Head has
absolutely not the biggest meltdown so far. It's not even remotely close.
completely mind-broken
not even
Hassan.
close.
His response to me couldn't be that bad, right? Right?
What an unbearable way to exist, dude. Oh, I'm getting all my politics from Shoe on Head. Ooh, look at me. I'm an emo girl. Ooh, look at me. 4chan guys who are now 38 years old want to fap to me. Why would you openly admit that you listen to Shoe on Head? What the f is wrong with you?
In this video, I'm going to show my raw reaction to his response, and throughout that will be sprinkled in, like, normal commentary. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest, I was really debating whether or not to do a response to his response, but, like, everyone else is...
Hey, you know, the thing I notice about Asmongold is he's always moving his eyebrows.
covering this crash out, so why wouldn't I, the subject of said crash out, cover it myself? Like, there's currently a resolution in Congress to, like, disavow Hassan Piker, the same thing that they did to Nik Fuentes, disavowing private citizens for what they said on the internet. What are we doing here? Does our government really have nothing better to do? Like, there is so much going on in the country right now, so much going on in the world right now. I feel like decades worth of news happens, like, every week. Every day there is a breaking story of the most insane stuff you've ever heard in your life. Everyone is expected to have a fully formed opinion immediately. But the reality is, when a story first breaks, you're probably not seeing the full picture. And that's why, for 5 years now, I have been using today's sponsor, Ground News.
That's why you
so let's
watch
quickly
me.
give them a shout out before we dive into today's reaction and video, shall we? When you browse the news, you will probably arrive at completely different conclusions, depending on what outlet you see first. For example, if you saw this headline first, you might think things are going according to plan and the war may be over soon. And this is just a smart pressure tactic to get the deal done. However, if you saw this headline first, you might think that things are going to escalate. And if you saw this headline first, you might think Trump is going crazy and probably is not emotionally stable enough to even be the president. Three headlines, three completely different conclusions. And that's why today's sponsor, Ground News, is so important. Ground News is a website and an app designed to make reading the news easier and more data-driven. Every day they pull in thousands of stories from all around the world, and each story comes with visual breakdowns of political leanings and ownership bias. Let's go back to that story to see it in action. Right away, you can see that 117 outlets covered this story. That's a lot. You can also see the bias distribution chart for the story. The coverage was pretty even all across the political spectrum. And under that, you can check the overall factuality and ownership. You can even see who broke the news first, which is pretty cool. But one of my favorite features of Ground News has to be the blind spot feature. It is so fun. It basically shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political spectrum, but ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how the US government wants Google to share data on an unidentified Canadian Trump critic.
Oh, that's
bizarre and dystopian. 32 outlets covered this story, 22 were left-wing, and only 2 were right-wing. That's insane. I am definitely going to read up on this. I've been using Ground News for years now. It is one of the first apps I check in the morning. It really helps me digest all the news better and helps cut through all the noise. But don't just
look at Twitter. I look for where's the most racist anime profile picture? Okay, what does he think? Yeah. True.
My word on it. The Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all, I'm currently offering 40% off their Advantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description down there. Big thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. I can always count on you. Right? And now, without further ado, let's get back to this video. So I thought it would be fun if someone joined me responding to this, because it is so ridiculous. I needed somebody to like bounce off with, because I felt like I needed some like emotional moral support, because I feel like I'm going insane watching this. So I am joined here today with the lovely Smug Alana, the VTuber, everyone's favorite Oshi.
Hey guys, I'm a JPEG and I would bow, but I can't, so just pretend I am doing it right now.
No, nice bounce.
I mean, it'll get the views in, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, you were on head video.
Oh, I know who Alana is.
Oh,
I know her.
Bring that shit up in here, okay? Why? What do you want me to do? Myself in the face, not die in the process, but at least lose significant chunks of my fucking brain so I can operate at the same substandard, suboptimal IQ level that Shuon Head and her dumb audience operates in, so I can do a regular response to that? Is that what you want me to do?
Why is he so mad?
Still has yet to bring up anything.
Nothing. 0 points. Like, 0 points addressed.
How many seconds in are we?
I basically made the same joke in my video about like giving myself brain damage so I could understand. Trying to follow the logic here. Let me just give myself some brain damage. Imagine being that chatter. Like, hey Hassan, did you check out this video?
Ooh, look at me. I'm an emo girl, and I change my politics all the f***ing time. Ooh.
Time out. Emo?
Yeah.
I wasn't even gonna bring that up. No.
The thing is that, like, I mean, he should know this. He's like my age. Like, there's a difference between goth, emo, and scene. You would say that Shuon Head would be like a scene girl adjacent, like almost hipster style 2011. That's really where it is. It's not emo. Like, that's not. What are you, fucking retarded? Of course not. Hassan is much older. Yeah, he's like, what, 46 now, right? Something like that? I forgot.
Hold on. god! For me, it's the wild
Yeah.
way that he frames
know.
having nuanced opinions, like, depending on the subject. Like, God
47.
forbid
I know.
you disagree with Hassan Piker, the arbiter of correct opinions of the internet.
Boomer, he is.
I do not have that many videos. I have like 100 videos in the span of like a decade. You could go randomize and click on any of those videos and you wouldn't be able to tell if it was made today or 10 years ago. Which honestly I shouldn't be bragging about. But okay, my point is I haven't changed that much. And the things I have changed my mind about, I'm very open about. The way he's framing people.
The worst part about that is that you can go back 20 years for me and do the same thing. And you will see an obnoxious, annoying 16, 17-year-old kid. Not a single thing has changed.
Well, maybe that's why your fans like you, Asmongold. I don't know with me though. Yeah, I think I've been changing a lot. You know, maybe not in behavior, but in what I talk about. So, you know, I tell myself, knowing is half the battle. What I need is the will.
Literally the same obnoxious, awful person.
Whoa.
People changing their minds,
That's it.
changing their political opinions over time as like a bad thing is bizarre.
Wow. He really said that.
Especially as a guy whose goal is, I assume, to change people's mind
hair has-
politically.
Shut
He's
the
totally
fuck up.
for people changing their minds politically, but only when they change their mind to agree with him. He
Yes.
supports people changing their mind as
Yeah, very
new
American.
information presents
Yes.
itself. He supports iDubbbz apologizing for the crime of being funny 5 years ago. But when
Oh,
it comes
big
to me
mistake.
changing my mind, I'm
By
like,
the way, I heard he broke up with his wife. Did that happen?
What the frick?
3 things over the course of a decade. That's bad. Like, yes, I've changed on a few things, obviously.
That's
From the ages
true. I don't
23
know.
to 35, yes, your opinions are gonna change a little sometimes.
course.
way, really?
Like, you probably don't believe the same
Well,
things you believed, like, 10 years ago.
No, absolutely not. Well, I think in that video that you talked about, I don't know, I remember like a couple of months ago, you were like, I had a baby, and then I lived in the city, and then I was like, man, maybe safety and putting money into the police isn't that bad, you guys. And maybe that was different when you were like 20 or 25.
Right, exactly. Like, when I was living in, like, sheltered suburbs, I was like,
Exactly.
F the police. And then you're an adult with a child, and you live in the city, and it's like, oh, actually, no, we need more police.
I think it was the body cams. That's what really kind of let everybody knew what was really going on. It's like everybody says, like, oh my God, they're doing all this crazy shit to the minorities. And then you watch a video, and it's somebody running away. They won't give you their name. They're trying to kick out the window of the cruiser. You have to put them in the paddy wagon. They shit themselves on the way to the station. They won't tell you they've got a knife in their pocket. You've got to figure it out. And then you put them in there, and they're screaming. They're screaming at you all the way over there. Like, it's just fucking annoying, man. Like, and you really get a different level of respect for the police. I think it's really the body cams. That, like, I mean, that was the biggest fucking Uno reverse of their lives. Like, after we saw the body cams, all that ACAB shit, all that fucking police or racist shit, that was gone.
Never mind.
I just confuse terminally left-right brain people. I always have. Hyper-partisan people absolutely hate me because they can't just like put me into a neat little box and then smash that box with a hammer. Hassan usually can hand wave away critics like, oh, they're just an Israel shill, they're just a Zionist. He can't do that with me. He hand waves them away by calling
He can. He's just gonna say that you're an emo girl.
them neocons or neoliberals. He can't do that with me. Alt-right incels. He can't do that with me. So what does he do?
The thing is that, like, this is the implication that, like, he has to operate inside of the realm of truth. That's a false premise. No, he doesn't.
He malfunctions and starts calling me emo. Like, okay man, you got me. Emo is when eyeliner, I guess. In the hyper-partisan mind, it is completely impossible to hold several non-contradictory opinions at the same time. Like wanting free healthcare, but also wanting a strong border. Like, to me, those aren't contradictory whatsoever. In fact,
They're mutually exclusive. You can't want both.
product that works together. You don't want to override your healthcare system, right? Your focus should be American citizens. Like, in their mind, like, Denmark doesn't exist, right? They think, like, oh, if you think unions are important, you must also be for minors having HRT. Like, no. If you believe in public transportation, you also have to believe in abolishing prisons. Like, no. Sorry, no. I don't know how my ideology is confusing. I don't know how they see that as, like, flip-flopping or being a grifter. When to me, it's, like, completely normal, common sense stuff. Like, you can't...
Goy. You scoy them. I mean, you can't even really hold it against them, honestly. I mean, they're born that way. It's not even their fault. Yeah, I mean, like, really, you can't... that's just the way they are.
Have a country in decay like this. You can't. It will not be fixed by people like Hassan telling young men not to aspire for anything and saying stupid shit like telling people it's cool to steal.
Would you steal from Whole Foods?
I'm pro stealing from big corporations.
Like, what in the fucking LARP is that? Yeah, stealing is so cool, dude. Let's just steal from big corporations so those big corporations move out of that community, and then that community turns into a crime-ridden, unsafe shithole ghost town and a food desert. Like, yeah, bro,
blame that on racism.
You're really fighting the man. Listen, you can tell people that billionaires are the real enemy until you are blue in the face, and it might be true, but Jeff Bezos is...
Everybody has the courage to hate the top 1%. But who's brave enough to hate the bottom 1%? That's the real problem. Me? That's right. Those are the real problem, boys.
The one stabbing them on a train, you know? You can't have a peaceful, functioning, socialist or even social democratic society with the delusional social policies of Hassan Piker. You just can't. Anyway, sorry,
it's because their entire worldview is based off of virtue signaling and making themselves feel good. Obviously, you can't have open borders while at the same time you let anybody get health care. Because then everybody's going to come there and get health care, and the hospital isn't going to work. Duh. But nobody wants to think about this because it's not about an ideology. It's about using these words and saying these things to indicate you're part of an in-group. It's like Hail Hydra. At least that one made more sense.
Going on a tangent. It's just so funny he sees my politics as, like, incoherent, when to me his politics are the ones that are incoherent. The video was barely political. My response to him was about his, like, nihilistic mindset when it comes to young men. Because for years, we had to watch the media shove this guy down our throat like he was the Joe Rogan of the left. Oh, he was gonna save young men from the alt-right pipeline. By the way, this guy is never going to be the Joe Rogan of the left because, like, Joe Rogan, at least
I would argue that people like Hassan lead more guys towards being alt-right, you could say. And the reason why is that there are these very blatant and glaring hypocrisies. Things like, for example, encouraging stealing. Everybody knows he's never going to steal. So it's like, why are you telling people to do this? Or like, oh, well, everybody should be, people should be taxed more. And like, you live in like a huge house. Like, there's a problem where like you have these like dramatic, huge character flaws that contradict your ideology directly. And in the process of that, I think that you do invalidate a lot of criticism that people have you do invalidate a lot of what you're saying because people just look at that and they say, well, if you really believe this, why don't you live this way? And if you don't live this way, then you don't really believe this.
Yeah.
It's really just that simple.
I'm remembering our person right now.
I think, honestly, like, it's a very good indicator. Like, if people don't live a certain way, they probably don't really believe what they're saying.
Rogan from years ago, I don't know about now, was all about listening to other people's beliefs and hearing other people's opinions. Hassan does not do that. Hassan closes his ears and goes, la la la, I can't hear you, you're stupid, I'm smart. For years we had to listen to how this guy is gonna push young men away from the GOP. They are leaving the GOP, but they're not going to the Democrats, and
I don't know if they're going to the left either. But anyway, my video was not political. In fact, the only part that, like, was political was the part where I agree with Hassan about the genocide in Gaza.
If you're a gamer, you should care about things that you actually experience.
Very weird coming from a guy who understandably wants everybody to care about a genocide that is happening across the ocean. My point there was, you can't be telling young men to only care about things that directly affect them and then make it your life mission to tell those same young men to care about things that don't directly affect them.
Do you want...
Yeah, it's because it's just Muslim identity politics. That's it. I've said it before. Hassan will always fall off on the side of defending Islamic terrorism. Every single time. That's why he identifies as a Muslim, except he's going to brothels and he's going around, eating bacon. As far as I know, drinking alcohol. He has a dog. That's all it is. It's literally just anti-West Muslim identity politics.
Want me to lose chunks of my brain? Do you want me to John Fetterman myself so I can understand the compelling argument the Shuon head makes? One that should have been left in the dustbin of history all the way back in 2016.
As if opinions from 2016 aren't still here today that are good.
Literally, technically, I mean, I'll put my stats on the screen. I am literally more relevant today than 2016. Like, more people are watching. So these aren't opinions from 2016. These are opinions from now, Hassan. People disagree with you now.
Look at me as an emo girl. 4chan guys who are now 38 years old want to fap to me.
Wait, 4chan guys want to fap to me? Wait, I thought it was super cool and progressive to have like an army of men who simp for you online. That's not very woke of you, Hassan.
First of all, I like how he used the word fap.
Nobody actually respects a lot of these sex workers. Nobody does. That's the truth. And that's the reason why, at the end of the day, when people get pushed comes to shove, they actually get pressed on it. They will use that as an insult. It's because they don't actually respect them. They do it as like a form of performative feminism. But you don't use an insult at somebody and then say that you support that work.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people here in the Philippines, they use like psychological conditions, mental conditions as, insults. Sometimes you can hear them say, sometimes you hear them say like drop unalived. And then when there's someone on the news who unalive themselves they're gonna act like they have a lot of sympathy. Yeah, that's why I don't believe a lot of people who I know in real life. That's why I keep my mouth shut.
I respect all sex workers. I usually don't. I don't call them like I never do that. Of course I do.
That's so old, isn't it? It's like gooning now.
Yes,
Come on.
it's gooning. Come on, get with the times. It should have been left in 2016, Hassan. Come on.
Respect them titties. Yeah.
If this was said by anyone else, he would be calling it misogynistic and sexist, but it's being said by someone with the hive mind approved opinion, so it's okay. It's called dark woke, chud. We decided to become more hypocritical and annoying. You wouldn't get it. If I was getting paid for men to fap to me like many of his friends and ex-girlfriend porn star do for a living, that would be fine, he would support it. But since I don't do that and I'm just like a normal YouTuber, it's a way to insult and degrade me. It is interesting though how Hassan uses unfuckable as an insult to hurl towards men and fuckable as an insult to hurl towards women. I think it was Bell Hooks that once argued that patriarchy harms men.
That's literally sexism.
reducing their worth to status and conquest, while women are harmed by being reduced to only their desirability and being...
It's because that's the way biology is, it's the way it works, and it doesn't matter how many books you write about it, it's still just that's going to be the way it is. And people get mad about it, just get mad all they want, but like at the end of the day, that's the way it is. People get mad. Everybody gets mad. People hate reality. They don't like it. It makes them mad.
Conquered. You should not be getting feminism mogged by someone who does not call themselves a feminist, Hassan. Not a good look, buddy.
I'm the biggest
And
feminist.
also, bro, you thirst trap more than I ever have in my entire life. You are on the cover of JQ. JQ?
JQ? Even GQ?
You are on the cover of GQ. In a
Wait, I don't think Alana knew what that was. I don't think she knew.
tub. I will put the picture up there as censored as I can.
Yeah, he didn't
just
even know.
To shield everyone's eyes. Like
little rubber ducky on his
man.
You are spread eagle in the magazine. Let me read this to you. Let me read what this journalist said. Are you ready for this? Here's how Hassan Piker starts each day, working out, shooting the shit. It's Monday, 8:30 a.m. And we're in the backyard of a house in West Hollywood, where there's a makeshift private gym with benches, pull-down machines, and dumbbells galore.
Yeah.
This is where 34-year-old political influencer keeps his
34.
thirsted after body fit.
Wow. By the way,
34.
written by a male, too. And I'm just like, I would have thought it was, yes, I'm pretty sure.
He strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays would kill to be where I am now, next to Piker as he pants in a pair of neon shorts with black Calvin Klein boxers poking out.
The socialist, by
This
the way.
is really gay. This sounds really gay to me. It sounds super gay. Please explain what JQ is, the Jewish question. It's about whether the Jews control the world.
Sunlight
You didn't know
glistening
that?
off the sweat beading
Yeah, so
on
it
his
is.
chest hairs. So when it's women and gays thirsting
Yeah,
after
look it
you,
up.
then it's a good thing. But God forbid straight men find you attractive. This is the dude that has to keep his girlfriend a secret like some kind of K-pop star so he can like be e-boyfriend for his parasocial female fans. I'm always talking about being married, like when I'm in a relationship, I'm talking about being in a relationship, whatever. I'm
If I was a streamer, I would always lie about being in a relationship. I would. Especially if I was a girl. But like, even as a guy, like, I've already been through a handful of like public relationships.
I learned my lesson.
Or not the one playing e-boyfriend. Look at
You're
this
covered up! You can make the argument with me. When people say like, oh, well, she's just a
For me, it's different. Because like, and I think also like now it's different because like I really do operate inside of my own space. Nobody else wants to have anything to do with me. Nobody likes me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Everybody hates me. And I think to myself, finally, I've got some peace. Thank God.
True.
Jesus, bro, this is so relaxed. Oh, man.
Animate on the screen. Okay, fair point.
I'm
However,
worried about it.
Shu doesn't even like have anything that she wears in her YouTube videos that are like revealing.
Yeah.
Like she's very moderate.
People, wait, hold on, sorry. My dad is calling. Wait.
I think a better word. I think a better word would be modest.
That always stuck with me.
A progressive mind and a MAGA body.
That was just sad.
What does it even mean by that?
Being attractive
It
and
means that all of the leftist guys are fat losers, and all the right-wing guys are like guys that are attractive and go to the gym a lot. That's literally what they're saying. They're saying that like this mindset is for fat losers. And it's their own ideology. Like, why would you say
eating
that about
healthy
yourself?
and working out is right wing. What the f are we smoking?
For like a good 3 years, there was this really weird campaign to make Hassan Piker like the face of progressive masculinity in a bizarre attempt to move men to the left.
Okay guys, my solar battery is being depleted again. So thank you so much for dropping by. I really appreciate you. And I'm very happy about the performance of the RAM. You know, I'm happy I got to reconnect my avatar. So yes, bye bye. Thank you. I'm just gonna finish this video off stream. Thank you. Bye bye.